Hello, hello, and welcome to the Rock Metal Podcast. I'm your host, John Harris, and today on the Rock Metal Podcast, we have Carlo Bellotti, who runs WORMHOLEDEATH Records, Epictronic Records, and at a grander scale, Carlo Bellotti Publishing, the big umbrella company which handles all facets of music production, promotion, publishing, recording, music marketing. I even saw English lessons, so that's why your English is so good. And today we're going to be chatting about all things Carlo as part of our Industry Insider series and Carlo's insights for the music industry. So, Carlo, welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. Hello, John. Thanks a lot for having me here. I'm honored. I'm really happy to be finally on the Rock Metal Podcast. I wanted to be on the podcast since a long time, and it's great you asked me for the interview. That's amazing. Thanks a lot.
You are quite welcome, and thank you. I was just looking back. The first email I ever received from WORMHOLEDEATH was on April 29th, 2017.
Yeah, it's normal for us to invest a lot of time and resources on looking for new media, because we have somebody which is constantly like 8-9 hours per day looking for new media. And obviously when you created the podcast, when you started the podcast, we saw it immediately and we contacted you, as we do with all the media that we think are good, and usually they answer. So it's amazing to get to know so many new people in the industry, and with some we even become friends, and like with you, for instance, because we have been talking for 2017, so it's a long time, and we believe we are friends, because we know each other since a long time. Mm-hmm. And this happens with some of the media. Some of the media we just have a professional relationship. Some of the media never come back, never get back. But in the end, we spend a lot of time searching for new media, because it's really important in our job to have as many media as we can to promote the bands, to promote the albums and the music. So the media are the main promotional channel for the bands and for the albums. So we really believe in the media. I mean, there are a lot of people who say, Spotify, YouTube, and blah blah blah. But yes, obviously we invest a lot of time and money on Spotify, YouTube, and so on. But we also invest a lot of time and money to get in touch with the media, send them CDs. And sometimes even running ad campaigns if we have the budget and so on, because we still believe in the media, and not much in the printed media, because the printed magazines are really not bought anymore by people. People don't buy printed media anymore, printed magazines anymore, but online is still very strong, and we invest a lot of resources in this.
Mm-hmm. Kind of an interesting question is, especially for anybody out there who is a media outlet looking to get involved with a record label, such as in this particular case. I mean, obviously you reached out to me, but what was it about, I guess, my show or my platform, or I guess my response to your email? Like, what was it inspiring about working with me?
Well, because the podcasts are amazing, because the podcasts are one of the most real media that you can that you can work with, because podcast delivers the real ideas and thoughts, and everything is behind the music and the concept of the albums and the bands, because you run interviews, real interviews. So people can really understand what the band stands for, because for us it's really, really important. The message, the message is really, really important that the bands have, because for us, no message, no album, no message, no release. And as long as we only sign bands with a proper message and concept, it's important for us to work with the podcasts, because the podcasts will spread the idea behind the music. So that's why it was interesting for us to get in touch with you. And also it looked cool, and you already had a couple of interviews on it, and so we decided to put you in the list, and you answered, so that was great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, your bands don't suck.
Thank you, man.
Well, something I've noticed over time is, and that's why, for example, recently I had a friend who had some label interest, and I recommended Epictronic, was because over the years there's two things. Number one, I haven't seen a bad band come through on any of the labels that you have, and all the bands I've chatted with have really good things to say. I've yet to hear any of the bands say something bad. So it means you're treating people well.
You mean about us?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm glad you say this, because for us it's really, really important, the relationship that we have with the people, because we treat the musicians and the bands as people, because most of the labels treat the musicians as numbers, They probably don't even know the name, or they probably don't even know where they are from. And they just send copy-paste emails and such things. So when they approach us and they see it's completely different, because we really care about who they are and what they do,
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, when then we sign a contract, it's even more, because we have a close relationship with these people. And the good thing, I guess, the good thing of my labels is that you have the independent label approach, the artist friendly, the family approach, but also you have the big network behind, because we work with the Orchard, the Sony Music, and Warner Chappell Music, which is Warner Music Group, and Aura Music, and all these bigger companies, So, and also the promotional network is also quite big. So in the end, the bands are happy because they have this friendly relationship with the label, which is a personal relationship. We do Skype, we do telephone calls, and then they have the bigger network, because when you sign on a big label, you are just treated like a number. They don't even know who you are, and they just don't care, actually. And when you sign on a very small label, yeah, you have the very friendly approach and the artist friendly approach, but they don't have the network, they don't have the connections, and they don't have the resources to push the bands. So what we thought it was going to be good was going to keep this very friendly and family approach, but to try to give them the biggest possible network in terms of distribution and promotion,
Mm-hmm.
So you have the friendly label, but you also have the resources and the network. Also, if somebody is not happy, we let them go. It doesn't happen often, but sometimes if there is a band which is not happy, 1 out of 100, we tell them to go, and we give everything back, and we don't show the contract. We don't ask for compensations and those kind of things, because we don't want the people to think that we are assholes. in the real life, So we want to be good, even if we're the ones which are not good. And from what I heard, there are even some bands which are not signed to the labels anymore. They still say good things about me, and that's great because it's amazing, And I read an interview from Mechanical God Creation, which is a band that has released 2 albums with us, and the 3rd album was on another label, and the magazine was like, tell us what this label has much better than WORMHOLEDEATH. And Lucy answered, no, this label is really not better than WORMHOLEDEATH. We just wanted to try something different because the sound was different, and Carlo was used to work with the technical death metal thing. Now we play a different genre, etc., and that's why we just signed on a different label. But we are really happy. We are still happy with WORMHOLEDEATH, and this new label is really not better than them. So it was funny for me to read it because the journalist was already showing the fangs, and say, tell me this new label is much better than WORMHOLEDEATH. And the way she answered, she basically destroyed him because she said this label is actually not better than WORMHOLEDEATH. So that was funny, but it's because we are still friends with the guys. Even if we decided not to work together, no hard feelings or nothing, just different views, different sound, different ideas, and maybe in the future they can sign again, because the relationship is still good.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to do with the bands. Even if you go now, you have to try to work with the others, and then you will come back to us. That's what happens, because I want to let them try after 2 or 3 albums with us, I want to let them try the others. And then they cry, because they miss me.
Aww.
Yeah, but it doesn't happen much, to be honest, because when we sign a band, we try to do long-term relationships. So we try to release 3, 4, 5 albums with a band to see if we can at least push them to the next level or push them to a bigger label. That's what I always try, with my bands, to try to sign them to a bigger label because they would jump to the next level and we could stay as management or publisher,
Correct. So is that just where things are now, or is that where you want to stay, that you're there to facilitate upward movement?
No, this is our concept. This is what we work for.
Okay.
We get the very unknown bands, we try to develop them, and then we try to push them to the next level, whether it's a huge tour, whether it's a huge contract, or it's a huge producer or whatever. We always try to push the bands to the next level and to push them in the places that we cannot reach, by our own.
Yeah.
I don't know, like having a huge article on Kerrang, or I cannot get a 3 pages interview on Kerrang, but Sony Music can, So we always try to push the bands to the next level. But if it has to be the same label, they prefer to stay with us,
Right.
If it has to be the same thing, they don't change. Some bands change because they think that the new label will make them sell much better, much more, etc. But that's not true. I mean, it's not the label that is going to make you sell, because I have bands who have sold 10,000 copies and bands who have sold 300 copies. So it can't be me, the difference, because I do the same job for everybody.
Right. What is, when you look at those, is it obvious what the difference is for any bands listening in right now who are like, man, I want to sell the 10,000 copies, not the 300 copies? What's the difference in the band? Is it just genre? Is it the way that they have approached their production?
I really cannot tell you, because usually the best sellers are always the the bands that we didn't expect.
Mm.
For instance, if you think of Shadow Dream is an ambient jazz band. And when Rasco sent me the album, I answered him, look, man, this is a metal label. You are an ambient jazz project. What the hell are you doing on my label? And he said, I don't care. I don't give a shit. I wanna release the album with you. And I was like, look, I'm not gonna promise you anything.
Right.
I'm just gonna try, but I can't promise you any success or whatever. We ended up with 29 million streams on the record, and the $25,000 royalties for him. That's how we ended up. But John, we never fucking expected that this could be such a huge success, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And all coming from US, all the streaming coming from America. So how can you explain this?
Yeah.
There is no perfect recipe for success, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be real, you just have to be yourself, and you just have to play music because you love music, not for the money. Because whenever you do it for the money, they will never come. If you do it because you are passionate, you want to transfer a message, then it could work. And that's what I look for. The people which are real, you know. And this is now Shadow Dream passed on Epictronic because at the time we didn't have Epictronic, so we released it on WORMHOLEDEATH. Now Shadow Dream is on Epictronic because it's a better label for them, you know, because Epictronic it's all about down tempo, dub, jazz, ambient jazz, electronics. So it's much better label for them. But at the time, we didn't have Epictronic, so we released the album on WORMHOLEDEATH, and we ended up with 29 million streams, you know. And I don't even know how many copies they sold. It was all digital, so I don't know, probably 10,000 downloads, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's. And that was the most extreme album from the band because it was ambient jazz, but with a lot of noise, with a lot of contamination with industrial and such things. Now they are way softer. They play the real jazz, the real ambient jazz, but at the beginning they were more extreme, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's unbelievable. You cannot explain yourself what is going on. You just have to start with a promotion and see what happens.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, something that you kind of mentioned was, signing a band. And I know a lot of bands are looking for that. They get starry-eyed. They get glossed over. But what does that mean?
Sorry, can you explain me the question better? I don't know what you mean.
When you sign a band, what does that mean? What happens when you sign a band?
Okay. Sorry. Well, there is a huge plan which goes ahead for 2 years. So we start planning with the band from the supervision of the credits of the CD and ending at the last promotional process, which could be, I don't know, presenting the band to the festivals after 2 years of promotion. And sometimes we sign the bands even earlier than that because they send a demo. We like the demo, so we even review all the songs with them. I review all the songs. I tell them how to make the songs better, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go to the studio after around 1 year of pre-production with me. Then they go to the studio. I help them in the studio as well. So I visit them. I tell them, change this, change that. But I'm not that kind of Nazi producer. I'm just suggesting things. My approach is to support support the band's ideas, not to change them,
Mm-hmm.
So I help them in the studio, and then we take the photos, we prepare the artwork, we prepare all the lyrics, we check all the lyrics, we check all the English pronunciation, and then then we release the album, we announce the band, we release a first single, and then we start with the promotion. After 8-12 weeks, we release the album. Usually we do first digital and then we do hard copy afterwards. And then we release in Japan, we release in the US, now we release in South America, Australia, and so on. So the promotion goes ahead, the releases take place all around the world, and afterwards we start working on the publishing field. So we try to sell the songs into movies, advertisement, video games. We present the band to endorsements. We present the band to booking agencies. We present the band to festivals, and then there is a huge promotion plan inside, like radio promotion, college radios in the US, all the Japanese promotion as well, all the promotion in Europe with the media, and so on. So it's a big planning that starts a band with a master recorded. It lasts a couple of years. A band without a master recorded, so just the demos, it could last even 3 or 4 years. So it's a very long process. That's why when you get the albums, they are all so good, because there is a huge work behind, I don't leave the bands alone, never. I always stay beside them, and I tell them what is good, what is bad, if the pictures are ridiculous, let's do new, and so on. I'm very critical. But, they first have to tell me, Carlo, be critical. Otherwise, if I know that they are touchy or whatever, I just stay on the side and I wait for them to ask me suggestions.
Right.
Every band is different, so there is no method except for the planning. The planning is the same for everybody.
Okay. Cool. We chatted.
Yeah, it's a huge work.
Yeah, we chatted about a lot of stuff here, Carl. We chatted about bands basically being from the heart, having a proper message, proper concept, the idea behind the labels to be an artist-friendly label with a large network, which a lot of times you get one or the other, but you don't really get both. And the last little bit here, we chatted about, okay, we're talking about getting signed. A lot of bands say they want to get signed, but do they really know what it means? And so you just detailed your process anyway for signing bands. And what else we chatted about? We chatted about how we've known each other now for 2021. Was that 5 years? Is that 5 years now?
17, 3, 4 or 5.
You know what? April 29th, 2017. Today's April 29th, 2021. That's like 5 years to the day.
Yeah, exactly. 5 years.
Wow. Bellissimo. Bellissima. I don't know. Which one is it? Is it Bellissimo or Bellissima?
No, Bellissimo is correct for this case. Bellissima if it's female,
Okay.
If it's female. But this situation is more a male situation, because we are two guys, I'm joking. It's just because you say Bellissimo in a general way. Bellissima is more for a girl.
Okay.
For a female.
Okay.
Yeah. Or a bellissima cosa, una bellissima cosa. Yeah, it could work. Yeah. They're both good, man.
Mm-hmm.
According to how they use them. And I thank you very much for all your support. You are just amazing. You are fantastic. Oh. And the Rock Metal Podcast is something, is part of our family. And we consider you part of the WORMHOLEDEATH network, because you are.
Oh. Grazie, signore.
Actually, I want to extend this to the Carlo Bellotti Publishing Network, because you also help Epictronic.
I do.
Yeah.
I actually still have the postcard that you and Nat sent. It's over there, and I put it in the sunlight, so it's kind of faded a little bit, but I still have the postcard.
Really amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Groovy, mister. Okay. Wow. Thank you so much for coming on to the Rock Metal Podcast today, Carlo.
No, thanks to you, man. Thanks a lot. And I was looking forward to this interview, and I was waiting for you to ask me. So you did finally.
It took, like most men, it took 5 years, but I did.
Exactly. 5 years, man. 5 years.
You and my wife can talk about how I take 5 years to come around to doing anything. Yeah, it'd be great. Took 5 years for me to marry my wife, so about that.
Yeah, 5 years is a kind of a milestone for you. I see it. I see that.
Beautiful. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and hit stop.